of groups every single time. Like, they are a team that we kind of want more from, and I think that's why we still underestimate them. But at this stage, where it comes to the groups, they've always been good. The only time they did get eliminated from the groups was obviously the very first international event where they didn't make it, and of course, the last time at Champions. So unless history is going to repeat itself, you have to look at this team as one of the favorites to make it out.
Well, with the teams in this group...
Oh my!
Oh, look at this early push! DJZ already in there for the early duel. They've got the recon up to reveal, and that worked perfectly. Out of there for free, and FURIA are ahead. Look, this group is tough. Fnatic, 100 Thieves in there, as well as these teams. There is no easy way out. And for DRX, the threat of returning to that group stage defeat could be there. Already losing one in the early pistol, but there's a minute 10 left. And plenty of time for them to recover. Moving towards the B site, though, where it's very stacked up.
Yeah, they're almost still playing this bait and switch. DJZ just happy to basically take every single one of the duels that's offered him, and even getting a pretty nasty tag off the wallbang. The remaining players are still just lurking around that short area as well, making sure that nobody can really quickly rotate back into the A site, especially with the KJ utility.
Yeah, of course, they saw 3 players. There's 1 unaccounted for with that recon. Whoa, no! NCR somehow ends up walking out of there with a kill. A shock dart through to further harass, and okay, a rotation from DRX. They're starting to move back, move through mid. FURIA have rotated, though. They're watching it, although they've lost Khalil. And now, okay, at least a faster rotation for QCK. He is going to be on site on time, but this could be a little bit difficult for Quick to hold.
Yeah, I think they're at least going to get themselves the plant. It's just what they can do from there. Armor's already tagged low, and rotation all coming in to basically play this one as a squad. Turret also going to give them a little bit of extra information as the swing comes through. And, well, unless Stax is going to get a couple more of those, it's going to be a relatively easy cleanup in the pistol round for FURIA.
With that pistol under their belt, Tom, I think FURIA on the defensive side here on their map pick, they get that little bit of wind in their sails. You know, that early fight as well, perhaps an omen of what's to come over on the side of Jet. DJZ running up early, this recon that we saw bouncing off the back, getting the reveal and drawing some of the eyes of his opponents so he could perfectly sneak in there. And even in some of the moments where things look like they're gonna fall apart, you end up with like NZR grabbing that quick kill, the rotations around on time on the side. Well-controlled pistol.
I think this is going to be a fun match, though. Not only because seeing Korean Jet buzz back is something that excites me. I don't think his chamber in the previous tournament was particularly good. I didn't enjoy it in comparison to what we've seen from him on the Jet in the past. Also, Marco had an incredible tournament over in Copenhagen, especially within the group stage. I think if you look at the stats, he was by far the best when it came to Astra gameplay. So there's definitely some huge positives here, and, well, unfortunately for Buzz, that is kind of going to be his role within this map, and especially when you don't have any weapons on the other side, you can't really expect much on the side of DRX.
It's exactly the thing, right? You've got a classic. Now, they have put Quick down to just 20 HP, but was able to quite isolate that fight in time, and despite a decent amount of damage across the board, DRX don't end up taking any of the weapons out of their hands. Now, they forced reinvestment in shields, they've got a plant, but altogether, this is an incredibly strong start for FURIA, especially because they invested with a Vandal, a Guardian, a Bulldog. They're really upgraded coming into this buy round.
Well, yeah, this is something we saw more so with a couple of pistols done by FPX. It's just investing quite heavily into these second rounds and just basically making sure that you don't lose too much weaponry, and they were able to keep that so clean. Okay, a plant goes the other way, but without losing any personnel, it's not so much of a problem. The only interesting thing is the fact that Stax is still going to be coming in quite early with that Nightfall. So a chance for them to almost completely take over either site. Like, it is an ultimate that takes up an awful lot of space and gives you so much information, which is something that DRX are already going to be swimming in with this composition.
Such a passive early round from DRX. They're baiting in a B push with players on the A site pushing up, taking some aggressive stances in the early stages, and they wanted to catch that B main aggression. They wanted to catch DJZ doing what he did in that pistol to find the early advantage, but FURIA have a different idea. They're looking elsewhere. They're stacking up towards the A side and allowing Killjoy to solo hold basically half of the map. It might not work out if DRX do decide to finish B, but right now they're a little indecisive. They don't want to just run in and give these weapons away, especially not when you're against some of these weaknesses like your Spectres. It's going to be a slow round chipping out at your opponent's map control.
And it's taken them quite a while just to gain any ground. Like, you're going to see this deep mid push coming through from Buzz, just attempting to try and find an early battle, but with still deep main control. The KJ set up now over on that B site, ready to try and delay as much as possible if they need it. only just making their way towards the market, and they've still got an awful lot of utility and the contact of the turret. In fact, they're even going to close the door on the other side just to delay them that little bit more.
Yeah, smart move. They'd already seen the turret as well. DRX are going to be blitzing out to take this fight. Already, though, NCR in with one. Quick's on the site, but now has support. He only had a Spectre to play with, but the Guardian joins him up, and now the damage is starting to swing their way, at least a little bit. FURIA doing quite a bit. That shock dart not going to quite cancel the plan, but the players rushing in have, and now there's no time to get it down. What a disaster for DRX as FURIA stomped them out in round number 3.
Yeah, some shaky duels, but at the same time, FURIA come through. I think it was a fantastic dart that was actually used just to give that first kill for free over to NZR, and then it was just the amount of time again that was wasted and just the pace of Digizin. Like, this is the problem, or this is, I guess, the solution to almost a lot of the problems of FURIA before, is that you now have this aggressor again. Like, we saw this in the past when they had Janji on this team. He was like the pinnacle, he was the focus of this roster. It seems like they've got that guy back with just that extra little bit of craziness.
For the upgrades that they had, you know, it still was going to be a tough round, and I think DRX did well to isolate basically the one player at a certain point. FURIA just in the nick of time, though, rotating in to help out that lone Spectre and avoid having to play the retake at all. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, this has decimated DRX. I mean, they're down to Sheriffs, they've got a Marshal, but there's still potential in a round like this. They've lost their ultimate, though, using it up in the previous, and so rushing into Quick is going to be difficult. They've got that crossfire as well. Khalil taking first contact, destroying the Prowler. That's a little awkward, though. Quick's gone down.
A really nice flash. It's going to give them that opener and actually forcing a fairly fast rotate in from the remaining defenders. It's mainly because of the deep control that's there from Digizin. It's something they're going to have to try and predict throughout this match, just how far this man is willing to push all the way through of that B site. And while that early pick diminished, no gun actually retrieved either just yet, so actually making a play off this is still going to be very, very difficult. And again, FURIA, after getting a pick back, they're controlled, patient.
It's got to be so frustrating to play against if you're DRX. They waited for that play in just the previous round. They were ready. Oh, what? Stax has a chance. A small chance, but a 1v2, a rifle, 20 seconds, spike down on the other side. So yeah, he is going to call for the save in the end. Or make his way back over towards these guys. 10 seconds on the clock. This man is going for it. He hasn't got the spike. He needs the kills, and well, the time isn't there to find them now. They're just running for the hills.
Yeah, he's just trying to do a little bit of extra damage. That's exactly what he's doing. Oh, it's a little bit close. It's a little bit close. Marzin, the fact that he even challenged that for a split second is terrifying.
The fact that he did not run to generator under. Why are both players not just sprinting to the other side of the map? Get out of there. That's, if you lost that round, but they didn't. But they didn't. Just a few weak weapons, stacks in a 1v4, and yeah, it didn't even come close. It's all good. Stop,
That's
breath
scary.
on that one, deep breath. No pause. No pause. We'll just go straight back into it. I feel like either coach could have called for a timeout on that one and a few breaths of fresh air, but we're right back into it. But what I was saying was frustrating for DRX. They waited for that B main push in the buy round, and then he does it versus an eco with an op. Come on, man.
Enemy kill.
Oh, B was able to open things up in the previous round, but already gone. They are really suffering at the moment with this Jet operator. Just taking space, getting their opener, and even when they're holding these defaults, it's almost off timing that's coming out from Digizin. He's not pushing at the beginning of rounds every single time. He's waiting until a mid-portion of it where there's definitely additional risk for him, but he just seems to catch a timing almost every single time.
Yeah, and the benefit will already be there for that, because now DRX have that in the back of their mind for every single round that comes. They already wanted to anti-strat it, but you can just see how well FURIA are handling some of these early fights. Now this walk towards the site. Flash out, Peach doesn't even get the chance. It's messing around the corner for 3. Oh, DRX are not having a good time here. That pop flash was absolutely sublime. Mako's got it all to do, 25 seconds. And you know what, Tom? It's not only the entirety of the enemy team. They all have full health, 0 damage done. Mako is alone in this round.
They were all just pushing him. They want to try and get this go. It's very disjointed from FURIA, allowing him these 1v1 fights, but I feel like you're just seeing the confidence of this roster at the moment, just trying to wipe out Marco and his remaining weapon. The other players just falling back, and Digizin, of course. he's going for it. He's going to take this peak. He's going to try and kill him in the very last second. He throws out with the Blade Storm. It just takes the gun away. What?
They have got the ball rolling on this defensive side. You know, FURIA making this almost look like they're the ones on the attack. Look at that push. A beautiful flash. Two players blinded. Stacks.
When did he pop the Blade Storm?
I guess at the start of the round. I didn't hear the sound cue, so I'm guessing it was drowned out by a little something.
Yeah, DRX timeout. I'm not surprised. It's just the manner these rounds have been going in. Like, you're getting caught by Digizin swinging, finding an opening pick, then just moments later a pop flash out. It's also interesting as well because you're playing with a composition that ultimately should be very good at clearing out a lot of these angles. Like, you've got yourself a drone, you've got yourself the prowlers, you've got yourself the knife to stop him from being able to dash away, and yet they're catching you off guard almost every single time. It seems like a lot of that utility is just not being placed in the right position. I almost want to see DRX try and pick up the pace a little bit. Like, okay, we're being caught every single time, allowing this guy to take 1v1 op picks. Let's go pushing. If it's a 1v1 trade, that's already better than every single round we've seen so far.
If DRX don't come up with a solution here and now, you know, this is going to be a very, very difficult map to get back into. We got hope when we swap over to the defensive side, sure, but seeing that last round there, 0 damage done throughout, you leave a 1v5. There were chances.
They did almost lose a 1v4.
They did almost lose a 1v4. Yeah, look.
I feel like Stacks always has a round like that in the tournament, though. It's just Stacks thing. Yeah, at the moment, I think he needs about 5 of them because it's going very badly.
And just take a look at where the ultis are at as well. So not a ton of powerful ones online, but with Mazen having himself an RB, could be whoever pops it first ends up getting themselves into a site or stopping the push on the other side. And DRX making their way towards this A site. There's a Killjoy here, the perfect time to pop. Lovely little null command.
Already. Buzz again looking to just lead the charge. Everybody else actually sectioned off behind him. The stun not going to connect, and it's an easy kill for Khalil. Like, not really getting anything from it. The rest of the team just very far behind and just allowing for these isolated duels. It'll be a single kill for Zest. They're just barely even scratching the surface of the FURIA defense. And I'll be honest, at least in this round in particular, I don't think FURIA are doing anything like in particular. They're just not being hit by any of the utility and just being able to win 1v1 duels.
Yeah, I think that's a normal enough play considering what they were up against. You know, when you have those pistols on the other side, those weaker weapons, it makes a lot of sense to just play it back, play your crossfires, and try to run it that way. But DRX, moving into this buy round, it's now or never. You know, it makes sense they save their ultis up, and now they've got a whole bunch to play with. Again, some of the concerns there, you can cancel out Zest's ultimate. That Hunter's Fury comes through, gets hit by a null command, it's gone. This knife on its way over. Decent info. Catch one.
Yeah, of course, Digizin's already popped his dash instantly. He's just using it at the beginning of the round because of how aggressive he's been. At least being able to force him back a little bit. Now looking to try and pressure into mid. Drone trying to force him back off the angle, but Digizin is right back there again. In fact, you can see the temptation just to continue to push. He's feeling so confident in these fights that any of the ground that was initially claimed is now just being reclaimed. It's whether or not they actually check some of these close angles.
But there's a players tucked in those corners. Buzz being the first. He's already caught the hand!
No.
FURIA somehow get out. It looks like it's planned. Obviously, this is just some horrendous between timing and just the way things are going down. Unlucky for DRX in some of the fights. But FURIA are constantly creating these opportunities, having that second player there that you can at least manage the trade out of those situations, and it's not even needed.
Buzz is also on 0 kills. Like, he's just been having a rough time. Like, I'll give him the fact that a lot of rounds he's dashing into the site, but it just seems like every duel that is put in front of him, he's just unable to connect the shots at the moment.
I'll say as well, he's not just dashing in, he's often dashing in, and then his teammates are being blocked out by some utility, by a nano swarm or something like that. So this guy is entering by himself and then being left by himself, essentially. There's 10 seconds to get in here and plant. They've killed one, but they don't know about the player on the back of the site. Now they have that information to play with. They need to take him down, though. The plant needs to come in now, and there's no time. It's done already. already another successful defender round for FURIA, despite Stacks racking up kill after kill. DRX still haven't got a round on the board.
No, again, they're just being caught off by these re-aggressions in the middle of the round. It seems to completely disrupt whatever plan that they had, and then when they are going back to some sort of plan, they're running out of time. They're trying to execute into the B site with 13 seconds left when you killed no one. It's
devastating.
It's not going to happen. And you could see the frustration not even building. I don't even know at this point what you really say to the squad, because they are just losing battles they should be winning. They got all 5 ults.
They do. As struggles for money, that's for sure. But a Blade Storm, a Vandal bought up on Stacks, kept over some opportunities for sure. Already started out by losing was, though, that Blade Storm deleted, and FURIA, they just showed no signs of weakness. Losing 1 player a second to fall, but they have 3 more to take this man down, and in fact...
Where's he going? Oh, come on. The man doesn't operate, he just runs at him with a frenzy. I feel like we're going to really enjoy watching Didges in this tournament, because he has no fear. Like, it wasn't placed when he was born.
Hey, he's been eating up that marketing material, dude. This guy fears nothing right now. 10-3. 8-0. FURIA are unstoppable. But listen, this can still recover into a decent half for DRX. They could get 4 rounds. The problem, there's lots of them.
When did you get replaced by Achilles? Like, what's happening here?
Well, DRX obviously are the best team that have ever existed. No, but in reality, this is so far below what I expected in terms of the score, the difference between. And I want to look at that from the perspective of, yes, DRX are having some tough times in some of these fights. That is for sure. They're definitely not showing up individually the way they normally do. Buzz is yet to get a kill. It's been rough. But over on the FURIA side, they're perfectly balancing well-tempered aggression and complete turtle setups after they get those advantages, after they feel like they've got the info coming their way. They're controlling this game, and DRX need this timeout to figure out how they can break that control, because FURIA, they haven't looked like they've panicked at all.
No.
I mean, even when Stacks was about to win a 1v4 with 1 second left, you're like, I'll swing him, I'll take that fight. It's madness, and they're not being punished for it either. That's just the snowball effect turning into an avalanche.
Well, let's hope there's something that's come up now for DRX. Again, still have 4 of their ultimates online, ones that are definitely viable for getting you into the site. Hunter's Fury potentially combined with a Nightfall is nasty to an effect. Already Didges in again. Just look at him go. He takes the initial shot. They know he's here at this point. And I honestly, if they fell for the fact that he'd fallen back, I'd be surprised. Like, yeah, I've updrafted, guys. No, you can see how tentative they're currently being.
Take flight.
Just sat outside that B site. It did look like, at least initially, DRX wanted to go for something a little bit quicker into that site, but it seems like they've just been almost forced back.
Great rooting on the drone. I like that DRX waited it out, but now they've been spotted. That has gotten all of the information. Players wait out the drone, get revealed, and now what to do. I think they saw all 4 of them outside of B. Again, that one man unaccounted for being Mako. He can still support his teammates from afar. The smoke has gone down on short as DRX attempt to cross out and gain mid-control. Dijazine is watching, but he's being revealed. Still waiting. The flash goes through. The shot rings out, and he makes it out with his life. Being pressured from absolutely every side. 1 for Dijazine. He's going in for 2, but Stacks will punish him at last. Still though, look who's in the corner. Only good for 1. This is finally DRX with a head start in the round. They've gotten themselves onto a site.
As said, if you can trade that man 1-for-1, that's absolutely fine. At least he's not still surviving in the backlines, causing you issues. And someone who is Marco. Finally, he's going to get the kill. But it does give Quick a chance. Both players forced into the back corner. Maybe a little bit wary. The players are still towards main. But in fact, they are both at the back of site.
It's pretty huge as well. They had the Omen. They had the paranoia to potentially clear out this exact position. But with him gone, Quick's got it all to do. And swinging through that angle is going to have to be a 180 spin to finish off the second player. Good luck. He certainly needed it. DRX finally have gotten themselves onto the scoreboard. There is a long road to recovery ahead, though.
Yeah, and they basically had to use a fair few ultimates to do it. Like, you are left with just that Hunter's Fury on either side. And I guess with the lockdown gone, that's something they don't necessarily have to just burn up.
Can we can I ask somebody to just do me a quick list in that round from when we got on board with DJZ and they said like, oh, they're going out on mid, and he's gonna. How much utility hit him from that point? Because he got revealed, he got hit by an ult, he got revealed again, he got chased out. Like, I feel like they threw everything, including ultimates, at him, and that still resulted in a 1-to-1 trade, with Stacks needing a shot through the smoke to take him down.
It's just so scary watching him roam around mid. Has been smoked off. The fact he's activated his dash makes me think he might actually be attempting to go through it, and well, they're starting to predict. Buzz on the board as well. He's had a very quiet start to this game, but they're finally starting to read that aggressive Brazilian operator player. Quick does catch Stack though, and that actually leaves this B site not as well effective as you'd hope it to be, because they're only splitting through mid now. Nobody coming through B main.
With the door closed, they couldn't even punish him. The damage has been done to some of the teammates here for DRX. That being one of them, RB though just about survives. A sliver of health, a shock dart in to try and take him down. But it doesn't. It leaves him still on 70. He's happy and safe in that corner, and he's going to remain tucked in while his teammate plants. Here's the flash to try and initiate, gain some space. One kill, the beat in from mid. Great shutdown from RB, and a follow-up. Little bit of damage. A tickle onto Mazin. Mako, known to be on the site, known to be sneaking around here somewhere. Still got a flash to clear on through, and look at Mazin. He hit behind the boxes. He blocked the flash perfectly, and the timing on the swing. I thought that was going to end a different way. After those first few bullets, I had a little bit of a heart attack, but we're okay. 8-2.
Yeah, and we're starting to see some of those star performers actually step up for DRX. That round from RB was huge. Like, it started off the same way the majority of others have gone. Like, a player being isolated with some aggression, like Stacks falling early in the round, and you just had an incredible holdout from Quick, someone who, I believe, prior to the addition of Digizim, was actually on a much more aggressive role. Like, you'd see him playing more of the duelist in spots, even Neon on some occasions, but he's fallen back into this KJ role and did an incredible job. RB just then topped him a little later in the round.
Yeah, I think we're seeing exactly why this man was trusted with a Spectre to solo hold B side in round 3. He has got the capability keeping himself alive for just a remarkable amount of time. Quick push coming up. DJZ has support, but they will concede it after being spotted and detected up that close. DRX, though, are not all waiting outside of B. It's only one player. The rest of them are again trying to steal mid out of the hands of FURIA. They have not done that. Oh my, that has gone about as poorly as it could have.
Yeah, the bait and switch was wonderful. Just to hear the TP going out, and because of that, you're not expecting Quick to then swing off the back of the angle. The interplay from FURIA, fantastic. And now again, a two-man disadvantage for DRX, spread across the map, hoping that someone makes a mistake. But at this stage, FURIA are back in their turtle shell.
Yeah, and this is where they have succeeded in closing out pretty much every single round. DRX have barely managed to put a dent in this kind of a hold. With the 2-2 setup still in play. A knife, I'm not sure when that's online for Mazin. Pretty massive to have that information. A smoke that's gone to the middle. This leaves them open. The one-way smoke no longer in play on short. Khalil's being tagged up on the way. In fact, no one's too healthy in this fight.
Spike down A.
At least it's good old Stacks on 13. 1 versus 4. He almost had it earlier, Tom. This time the Spike's in front of him. But guess who's behind him?
Yeah, it's just not going to be happening whatsoever. FURIA, again, just superb round from them. And I think that's something that has been clear when even watching their squad more regionally. Like, they do have this aggressive side to them, but I really do love the interplay in this round. You have the initial swing, you have your teammate alongside you to make sure there's any sort of trade, and then even just the kill they got onto Mako, it's a double swing from 2 different angles. He's not getting that kill. Like, they're making sure that there is no way that any of the players on DRX can actually get back into this round. 9-2 already, looking to try and hit double digits within the first half, and I'm sure there's plenty of Brazilian fans who will be shouting at how good FURIA have been, but I did not expect it to be this dominant in the first half of this match.
Yeah, this has certainly been a tangibly different series to what I expected starting it out. DRX with 3 rounds as their maximum here. That is a very low bar to set starting it out, but it could be the lifeline they need if they can find it. Again,
he gets spammed out from this position literally moments ago. I know he's already popped it, so he can get out of there. Never mind.
And
He's
they're
still
going.
going to get a couple of kills. Now his teammates actually swinging alongside. Zest has done a fantastic job to at least turn the tide a little bit,
Spike
but it's
down
still going to be
mid.
all left onto Stacks.
Yeah, they needed to keep contesting that to stop this res from coming through. Now there might be no choice. Players are a little bit too far away, but a quick rotation. See, if Khalil gives away his position, that's perfect because QCK then should have the flank. That's ridiculous, though. A quick stinger kill giving an opportunity.
down
Quick, though,
mid.
has managed to sneak through. He did reposition, and he's dropped the spike. Now where do you go as RB? He hasn't got a flash left to play with, has got his nade at
Bomb
least.
grenade out.
But the thing is, you can run down the clock all you want. The spike is there. You've got to go to that position. He knows it, but Quick will not win the fight. That is a much-needed round for DRX, putting them to 3. And they are going to need this halftime break to discuss the defensive side. There can be no room for error.
Yeah, it's a scrappy round at least that gives them something to play with going into the second half, especially if they can get themselves that pistol along the way. And a lot of it does come down to just the heroics of Zest. I think that has been a lot of what we've talked about for DRX. A couple of heroes have at least given them a lifeline. But is there anything else? And I think we can throw it over to the desk, and maybe they've got a little bit of hopium for us.
I don't know about all that, fellas. That was a rough one to watch if you're a DRX fan. Of course, if you're a FURIA fan, you are over the freaking moon right now. Bren, that was a shellacking.
Yeah, I mean, complete confidence being showcased by the FURIA players. DJZ and Mazin as this kind of duo. These guys have been popping off. And I mean, it showcases in the numbers. They've been taking, I'm not even going to say risks, they've just been playing how they usually do. Yeah. And DRX are essentially the equivalent of a wet flannel. They are just sitting there, man. And they are so patient, so passive. They are
Wet
giving
flannel's the worst.
Free
But
reign.
they're also not holding safe positions. They're holding spots where Dejazine able to get onto them.
Yeah.
Dejazine is 5-1 in terms of first kills. I told you within Brazil, Dejazine and Mazin are both under 50% in those first duels. Even though they take a lot of them and it's still valuable for their team, Dejazine is 5-1 in first duels right now. And look at the numbers that both of them are putting up. They're pounding.
And I've never seen a team, I can't remember the last time I've seen a team play with such a lack of confidence, honestly. Actually, the last time might have been DRX in their final match of Copenhagen.
Yes.
When they just played.
This feels like I'm watching, like we're in a time loop.
Bro, they are just,
They're
just looking weak at the moment. And I think they've only just started playing with confidence starting like round 9 in that half. This is not the equivalent of a team that I'm expecting great things from. I get so angry watching DRX in these major events, man. I get so angry.
You just have to twist it into joy for Furia. But I do want to talk about DRX for a moment, though, because they've had an IGL swap recently, and I think there's serious pressure now. It was Zest, now it is Stacks who's doing some of the IGLing. Hell, it might be swapping between them in games like this. But I think for these guys, it is going to be so difficult to get themselves back up and ready for the next half, especially with the comp that they're not familiar with. You can see it in the body language. They're not at 100% right now, whether that's a mental block or what's going on.
Yeah, this has been rough for DRX, but it's 9-3. Maybe there's an opportunity for them. Let's send it back over to Mitch and Tom.
Maybe there's an opportunity.
That sounded like hopium to me. Like, he said he wasn't going to give it to me. Moments later, brings him in. I don't know.
Story of your life. Well, we go 9-3. Round number 13. Kicking off, this has to be DRX pulling it across the line. If they do not manage to find this pistol, I'm already calling time of death on this map. Now, you've got the idea that this is your opponent's map pick, blah, 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 but this performance from DRX, I don't care what map it's on, they are going to be unbelievably upset if they end up closing it out the same way that they started it. The defense about to be tested. Matt goes the first man to see an enemy. He's caught a little bit of excitement outside of the A site. He doesn't quite know how many are coming his way, though, as Dejazine leads the charge. RB wins the duel.
Yeah, they also had just a little bit of utility to be able to deny the rest of the players from actually taking the push through behind him. So, unfortunately, without that opening duel going the Brazilians' way, it's going to be almost instantly a reset. And you can see how fast the rotation was from DRX. They already had 4 players in the general vicinity of that A site. Even still, though, they haven't actually fallen back completely off of the angle just yet, still holding on for any further aggression, and almost just scoping out the rest of the map.
Waiting on this knife. Cover going out. RB not going to throw it out. It's short anyways where the push is coming through. I wonder if that false information now as they see nobody outside of A main. Well, maybe it's not going to be sold because now you've got a little bit of counter aggression from Furia being shown. These players are hearing some noise
30
on short.
seconds left.
sneaking their way in. This is crazy. Furia on a stealth push. They contacted through short. They contacted onto site. They contacted past generator. I don't know how they've gotten that much space for free, but DRX, again, they leave gaps and Furia fill them instantly.
Yeah, it's down to Stax and Zest to try and pull off a miracle once again. Not looking likely, never mind. 2 quick kills! Zest has somehow come out with a couple of his own! This round doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it doesn't matter anyway, because Quick is going to pull off the Red Bull clutch. A weird pistol, to say the least, and a contact generator strat that came through at the end, but hey.
I'm like, the utility's about to be thrown. They're about to lift their finger off the shift key, and I'm almost holding my breath for it. And look, they make it onto the site, and then RB just gets shot in the point blank in the side of the head. Again, that gap was, they were aware of it, but once that player got smoked out on short, they just didn't have anyone to fill in the gap, and it was exploited perfectly. I don't know how Furia managed to do this, so consistently on this map so far, but with that pistol round under their belt, DRX will take an eco. So this is 11 rounds, basically 1 buy round away from taking it across the line.
Yeah, I can understand it, especially on the defensive side, especially when you're not running a chamber. It's like, what are you realistically going to be investing into this round, unless maybe you're Leviathan, you can pull in the Stingers. Like, there's not many other teams to be able to pull something like that off, so unfortunately, they had a stack up of players in an alright position, but they've not really been able to gain any manner of space. Afterplant already going to be coming through, and Marzin, he just loves a little bit of aggression. Already looking to try and get that ultimate online, and they're pushing into the smokes. Alright, Digizin. Okay.
Yeah, like we said, the confidence here, it's skyrocketing. You know,
Vandal, and he pushed the smoke against Classics.
We've seen it from one of the first rounds in that Stax play. Furia are confident, and they are not allowing DRX to have any room to breathe, even on an eco, where you would think you could 4-man stack up spawn and retake together. They don't get the space to do that. There's guys just throwing themselves at them. This round right here, it's desperate. It is desperate. They'll get a full buy, they'll get their utility over on DRX, but lose this, and it's map number 2.
Yeah, and it does already feel like we're heading there. Already. Majority stack up towards the B side of the map. There's still some pretty decent weaponry here for Furia. That's the thing. They still have a few rifles to play with and plenty to buy back in within the next round. In fact, Quick could even drop an operator over if they wanted to try and bring it in on the attack in the next round, and that's if this one isn't successful. Buzz, he's had a miserable time so far in this match. Already losing the battle to Khalil. Drone, well, it gives them the information I guess they already have, but already a man down for DRX.
And at this point, I guess for Furia, the question is about to be answered as to what do DRX do in this scenario? Do they start to push up and take extra map control? They've already heard the door closed. A lot of the time, that means you're going to have your solo B player, but actually it's so DRX can push straight up and ignore the possibility of a mid-split without a lot of noise being made. They've got the perfect timing on this. Players are just now crossing up to short, and Dijazin is taken down at the bottom of the stairs. There is a small advantage for them to play with, having taken down one of the stronger players for for Furia.
Pulling them in. 30
the
seconds
timing
left.
here is going to be everything, and he manages to hold on to A-Long. It's an important position. RB is being wrapped on as well. Players looking to come from above. Are they actually going to clear out this position? That's the thing. He still sits under the mount. Has eventually been spotted in the double peek. We'll bring this back into a 2v2 with Marco going down as well. NCR even goes aggressive and manages to turn it once more. The thing is, he needs to get that plant in. Seconds remain, and looking to just try and retrieve it. He is just about going to be able to get it down, but Zest now able to reposition back through the door. Looking for the push in towards the site, and he's taken a slightly more aggressive position than might be expected from Marzin, and he's not quite going to be able to win the fight. A very, very close round for Furia. And even with the damage done, it's going to make things tough for DRX.
Tom, at the end of the day, they came in here with 2 Bulldogs and a Vandal. They lost Dijazin without really being able to take a fight. The guy got shot in the side of the head, and we've seen what happens when he gets to initiate that combat instead of being caught off. This was not a good round for DRX. This was just a round win. We still need to see those good rounds coming, because now their opponents aren't playing with 2 weak weapons, with 2 Bulldogs downgraded from rifles. Instead, they've got a full buy. Instead, they've even got an ult online right off the rip. FURIA are in a very strong position right now. With many other ultimates about to come online, DRX have got to be sweating.
Yeah, the fact is, you've got to judge Spectre. Like, it's a really bad position, and if you lose this round, your economy's almost completely reset. We're still yet to see Buzz come online at all. It's someone that we highlighted as basically one of the best players within this team. He had a poor previous tournament, but it looks like that hasn't gone. Like, even going back over to the Jet, his comfort choice of agents, it hasn't fixed the issue. On this defensive side, he needs to be putting up numbers.
100%. Yeah, we have the excuses there for the attack. But look, I have an excuse for the defense at Runway. The guy hasn't got a lot of rounds to play with. If they end up losing one or two, it's already over. Mako up close. This judge hadn't been spotted. But he's going to be naded out of the corner. He still gets one before going down. A life for a life. A happy trade for FURIA, I think. They end up in a 3 versus 2, even with Khalil being incredibly low. That Hunter's Fury is trying to hunt him down. Both him and Quick just need one hit from it, but none land, and then Zest loses his life.
Spike planted.
He's needed again. Stax came close earlier to having that first clutch of the tournament. Now placed into a 1v3 turn 2. One of the players desperately low. The Nightfall's going to give away his position. Down to just one. NCR, though, I think that's through the box, is able to close out the round. It was close in the previous. They take it in this one. And now with 8 chances, the economy of DRX in the bin. This map is looking done.
Yeah, I would almost call this an impossible comeback for DRX. With the way the FURIA are playing, it definitely feels like they would need to make so many mistakes for DRX to get back into this one. Incredible close out there, and a round that, again, they so desperately needed. That ultimate use from Stax was so smart. Putting it out, catching the sound cue of exactly when he gets hit, realizing he's under, winning the duel perfectly. Even still, FURIA again end up with a round, and now they're up against pistols, but he got 2. He got 2 there. So even despite some amazing early duels for DRX, they're only 1 man ahead, and they haven't managed to recover those rifles. And look who's walking right back up. Zesto gonna throw his drone out.
Enemy tagged.
Oh, he knows that there's 2 players there. In fact, that's enough for the full rotation to come through. Stax already coming in on the flank, and although there is a turret watching towards mid, I don't think it will give them quite the information they want. He's just looking to try and hold them in. Now, Buzz does still have a rifle to play with, and actually they're going to try and use the lockdown here. It's not going to section off the entirety of the site, but it should at least force the players back a little bit.
Yeah, they'll buy themselves the space, but it's this early flank that then becomes a massive problem. Now, you've got the alarm bot down. This means if Quick dies, round's probably over from the flank alone. But as they get ever closer, there's the info. Player behind. Solid to play with, at least. Shock darts coming up and over. I don't think Quick... Oh, he's actually slightly out of position for those. Perfect. I wonder whether that was an expected outcome. Either way, they've gotten themselves the plant, and now a 2v3. They win a lot of these, and they've already seen Buzz on the site, but nothing they can really do about that. Khalil is left alone, shut down, and DRX find 5. A few more to go, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, and then honestly, there's a part of me that thinks just having a few rounds to sort of build yourselves into the tournament a little bit. Like, and the thing is with DRX, they're always very fast to start. Like, we talk about a lot of teams. I think Optic's the prime example of being slow starters in the tournament. DRX have never been like that. They've been really good in the early stages, and then they fall off towards the end. Well, I feel like they almost need to just build themselves up a little bit, because this first game so far they've just looked rough. They've been caught out by every single piece of aggression. Do I think they're going to win this map? No. Do I think maybe it can give them a little bit of a, I guess, a leg up to go into the next one? Maybe.
I'll tell you what, if you didn't know FURIA before this, I'm sure Stax knows them now.
yeah. That's the thing. I never want Stax to stop trash talking, no matter what happens.
Sorry, hold on. DJZ's just sprinted up with a Blade Storm. Oh, and he's caught by Buzz. There we go. He's had a tough time so far in this game, but Buzz has won the Battle of the Jets and countered out one of the best players on the server, possibly in the tournament, who had a Blade Storm in his hand. If anything, that was about to be the final round.
Now, especially without the Blade Storm, not a whole lot to play with. Can't see them using much of the ultimates, or more importantly, just the Hunter's Fury. I can't expect that to be thrown into this round. It's just whether they can get some space, make things a bit more costly, reduce the purchase that's going to be coming in to the next round. There is a little bit of space in towards this B side, but Zest very close by to be able to help out. It almost looks like they're trying to sell a little bit of a ruse in towards A.
That definitely does. Same name for up close. A lot of noise being made here, but it is still just this man. Drone on its way to B, though. So at this point, they've made a lot of noise on both sides of the map. I'm not fully sure what the intention is here, and I don't think they are either. Just trying to create opportunities wherever they can. And they're expected. And after that shrouded step, Khalil had no chance of that going undetected with so many players around. Okay, 1 kill, but what's it going to do with 10 seconds on the clock?
10 seconds left.
All right, 2 kills. That's, yep, that's a little better.
He doesn't have time to plant, so it doesn't actually make that much of a difference. There's still going to be a purchase in the next round, and if anything, probably just wants to try and retrieve one of the weapons, and eventually goes down to stacks anyway, which will mean the economy will build back up. Better round from DRX, not caught out by any of the ridiculous aggression. Okay, a couple of players going down towards the end, but now we get to see Bladestorm online, potential for an operator as well for Buzz, and FURIA, they're actually going to slow this down fairly early. Still 6 rounds in the advantage, but they're going to take a pause here.
12-6, couple of rounds built up on the other side. Pause isn't ill-advised. Certainly got plenty of time left to play with. 6 in a row needed. With Ultimate starting to build up and the ability to play 3 more buy rounds solidly, throwing in some ults here and there. You can see FURIA are not stressed, but this is sort of like the tempered aggression and then falling back into their turtle. They've had their confident rounds. They've had their crazy plays. But now, okay, time to wake up and close this one out. And we can start messing around on the next map.
The thing is as well, for FURIA, we haven't actually seen Haven with Digizin. So the next map is one where it's a relative unknown. It's something that maybe they have cracked it a lot and they've got a lot of ideas that they want to be bringing in with their new player, or maybe it's something that's towards the bottom of their pile. And it's been a map that, okay, at least in the last tournament was a little bit up and down for the side of DRX, but it's one that historically has been very good for them. So I do think that you're going to want to make sure this one goes clean, because it starts getting a little bit close, and I think the next one could be very dangerous.
And it's not even that, you know, the tangible difference between losing 13-4 and 13-8, you know, you can easily make those excuses then, especially when you start to look at pistol rounds and all this sort of stuff and some of the incredible low buys FURIA came out with. I think DRX could very easily reset that mantle coming into the next map already with 6 rounds on the board. And they are starting to find a little bit of a rhythm to it. Buzz, you know, if he went out of this map with 0 kills, going to feel pretty bad. Going to feel a lot of pressure in the next one. But these last couple of rounds, he's been figuring it out. And that's the defensive buff we were looking for. That was extremely close. And he's used his dash. So he kind of wants to go out and take that extra peek. Timing is decent. No one was holding it. But that dash is about to disappear. And so too will Buzz.
Very slow and controlled in this round from FURIA. Still not a massive amount to play with. Hunter's Fury could potentially give them the opener, but again, we're just seeing Marco play deep within A long. He's been having quite a bit of success from this position and just placing the stars almost to try and set himself up. Digizin is just going to go past the utility though, almost running and gunning. The drone delayed close, so Marco's position hasn't been spotted. RB, however, has taken a nasty tag.
Oh, they might have seen Mako's barrel just there. Maybe not. That flash possibly blinded them just enough. Mako up close, it's good for 2! He's got the spike right at his feet. He's hunting down the Sova as well. Realizing now, though, he's in trouble. They can come from either side. He's going to duck himself into wine and hope his teammates can provide a little bit of cover, a little bit of a distraction. 20 seconds left, and that spike has to be retrieved. The onus is on NZR. He's up close. This fight could determine it all, and the attackers are the ones to win it. A quick flank from Stacks, but is it quick enough? 10 seconds on the clock. The spike needs to be planted, and he's got the angle. Spike dropped. Time is so low. They've got to put it down right now. It's being planted and no denial. They have just about gotten it. The 1v1 as Buzz tries to keep DRX alive, and he'll get it on the Bladestorm. Another lifeline for DRX as they hit 7.
Well, maybe FURIA's starting to sweat a little bit here. These rounds have been absurd in the manner of which they've been closed out. Marco again. I mentioned his Astra. It's been so aggressive in the way that he's playing it around A long that they are just having so much trouble actually clearing him out from this position that Stacks was able to rotate all the way through mid, come in from behind, and then drop that spike right towards the end. Buzz even starting to gain a little bit of confidence as well. As I said, he had a really rough first half. He's now making his way up that scoreboard, 9 and 17. I don't know. I feel like if it goes for a couple more rounds, Mitch, Fury really going to start feeling that pressure.
Yeah, the recency bias now is towards DRX. These guys are warmed up. They're looking good. All of the flaws we've seen in the first half now starting to be corrected. But hold on, quick pace out of Furia. They're already on the site. Well, if they can deal with Zest, that is. 3 players coming down the alley. He's dropping off, trying to find a safe haven towards the back of the site. They're going to waterfall, but with just pistols, they don't stand too much of a chance. Good kill, but damage taken. That makes it all too easy for Mako. Quick, the last man alive, Sheriff in hand. 2 players to take down, and not quite the weaponry for it. 4 rounds between them. This map was looking done.
Yeah.
Quite a long while ago, but DRX have pulled themselves right back into this.
Yeah, I think Marco again. They basically managed to swarm out Buzz very, very early in the round, but I think he catches 2 on the cross as they try and enter into the site. If not, they're going to swarm on towards Zest from 2 angles. You mentioned the waterfall. There would have been players coming behind him in the stairs. So I think, again, back-to-back rounds where Marco's made the difference, and, well, they don't get caught off by such a pacey play. Still, though, investment back through, lockdown, null commands, pretty nasty combo if they want to try and utilize it. But if anything, DRX can almost play for a retake by having that Nightfall and a Cosmic Divide online.
Here comes the drone through. It's not going to find anything. Furia, again, very aware of some of this early utility that's been going down over on the DRX side. You can see both of these teams have done their homework, whether it's the counter of Dijazin's early aggression or some of these early rounds. I think even just 1 or 2 ago, we saw that Buzz play on short when his dash ran out, and they waited for it. The timing was on point for when that dash was going to disappear, expecting it to have been popped at the start of the round for the short peak. Again, Buzz finds himself running away towards the back of the B side. This time, they're not on him quite as quickly, but that's because they've got this lockdown to push them all the way back.
Oh, he's actually been caught out. That was a spam through the wall that's managed to clear Buzz. He was maybe trying to stick around a little bit too long. Khalil was going to clear the site, and it is going to have to be that retake. And look at Digizin go, but he's going to be punished this time. A chance to play the 5v4, but maybe getting a little bit greedy here. And as said, there are some solid retake pieces of util to get back in here.
They've had success with those pieces of aggression before. I can understand Dijison going for it, but now the trouble, having that 1 less player. RB, though, makes up for it with Mazin down. An off angle for Quick, but he doesn't find the kill. Again, an opportunity for DRX to get back in here. A 4 versus 2. The jump peak! What a swallow!
Oh, no! They almost just lost that round.
What am I watching, bro? What a jump! Everyone was jumping. Does everyone use mouse wheel? Is this some sort of new strategy?
It's actually the coach just has his mouse wheel bound to everybody's computers. They all jump exactly the same time.
My bad. Did it again.
Oh, scary stuff. DRX
if they
giving
lost
their
it that
fans
way,
a heart attack. Yeah.
That just undoes all the comeback.
NCR almost manages to capitalize on basically every single player pushing him at once. Like it's this initial kill, then he swings back, and it's only because he doesn't expect the second player. Far too close. The distance is now down to 3, Mitch. Bladestorm again online, and you've got a couple of Bulldogs to play with, so it's still not going to be easy, but DRX, they're weathering the storm in these rounds.
They really are. Oh, what a ridiculous conclusion to that round. Furia look for them with pistols, with a Bulldog, and a Bladestorm. It's the A site they're going towards. Drone coming through. Flashes just come in over on this A site, but even after he peeks it, Dijison goes down. For Furia, they're going to have to try and deal with so many players on the way through. 3 angles being held by rifles. They've got the range supremacy. Mako, well, he is in a little bit of danger from wallbangs, realistically. He's got some utility coming his way as well. But he's holding strong for now. And he knows main is covered by his teammates, so that's never going to be a worry.
At least 1 kill coming through, but
One enemy
not really
remaining.
anything to write home about again. Buzz able to shut them out. It's going to be the remaining player looking to push through onto RB. Completely blind, but Martin doesn't connect any of the shots. Someone so successful in the first half, and we're starting to see a few blips like that from Furia, especially in the previous round. Just a few sort of whiffier shots that we weren't seeing in that first half. 6 rounds in a row now for DRX. I can't believe we're actually at the point where they are just 2 rounds away from taking us to overtime. This is not a map I was expecting to go anywhere near overtime.
No, I would have slapped you had you have suggested it. That is just ridiculous, the amount of rounds they find in a row. And again, I look at that first half and the difference between the team, the difference between individuals, how Buzz is showing up now. He's middle of the line in terms of Jet performances in this half. It's been okay, but that's a damn sight better than it was in the first half. And DRX have reset into what I expected to see of them today. But with the context of how many they're winning in a row, this is maybe a little bit above and beyond it. Another timeout called for FURIA as they run out. That was their last chance to get their little tactical input from their coach. And if they don't come to some conclusions here pretty quickly, we could be hitting an OT.
That's the thing. Like in one of the, I think it was the bonus round, you see Carlisle laughing when they lose the 1v1 because he's like, you know, it was a bonus round. It doesn't really matter. He's not laughing anymore. You can see it's sort of like, all right, guys, come on. We cannot let this one slip away. Because that's the thing. We were talking about the mental game for DRX going into map number 2. The mental game for FURIA is going to be absolutely in the bin. You were way out in front, dominating every single battle. You're making it look easy. You were having fun as you were doing it. If you then lose that map and go into a map, as said, you haven't played with this player in an official before, I don't know. I think the pressure will take them out of it.
I could see that. I could see that. I mean, look, there is, as I said earlier, the recency bias when you look at DRX and how they've been playing. Well, they've got 3 more rounds since then. FURIA, they've got to be deflated. They can't even remember what victory tastes like. These players were relaxed. They were loose. They were having a good time. And now they are stressed. They're using up all their timeouts. They've got 2 rounds to close this one out. And Buzz has found the opening. It's Dijazine going down to one of his own tricks. That early aggression. Great stands to play from, and look at this, the bait out, the Vandal breaks it so the op can re-peek, and they will maintain control. The dash already activated, the window wide open for him to dash back, and he'll get this shot and out of there safely. DRX, the important thing here is their opponents don't have a ton of money. This is their best chance to close it here and now, and FURIA already have a 2-man disadvantage to play with.
Yeah, and it doesn't, they've lost their 2 heroes as well. The stars of the first half are gone. These were the players that were absolutely decimating DRX not so long ago. Now trying to sell a fake into this ace. Like, the problem is, it's just the ruses haven't been working at all. Like, you can see the aggression of Marco, how far he's managed to take the space. The only thing that's dangerous is if he can maybe win this duel versus RB, but even still, look at where RB is currently watching towards. I feel like there's an expectation there that there can be players in these sort of positions, and he spotted the gun barrel. It's almost free. And now you've got 20 seconds for the remaining 2 to try and walk into this site.
No, at least the 1 kill to Stacks, but after that, you're giving up completely. At this point, you want to just save these weapons over to the next round, try to bolster down your economy as best you can. This has been tough. I cannot imagine what the mental must be like for the FURIA team right now. This game was yours. It was in the bag. It came down to a 1v1 that was only barely won by a guy who went, I don't even know how many rounds without getting a kill. And now we're here. 1 round away from OT. I would have bet my life savings we wouldn't make it here. Happily. I would have laughed in your face.
Oh, God. Wouldn't be the first time.
No, it wouldn't. Thanks a lot, Angel. And here we go. Round 24. I genuinely don't know how we're here. But FURIA, they've stalled out, and now they're left to weak shields, to Guardians, to some gaps in utility. Oh.
And the ults are against them. Null Command on the other side. Bladestorm as well. Hunter's Fury is the only thing they have in common, and their ults are not even close to being online. It's in DRX's favor at this point, but we all know that sometimes the pressure, sometimes these rounds just slip away, but they have been in form for the last 7 or 8 rounds now. And look how tentative FURIA are being. You remember the confidence of those early rounds? That has diminished. They are trying to clear every single angle they can early because of how much space they've been losing in this half.
They heard the door close on B, and we saw the rotation from Quick slow down. He was going to make it to A, stopped, watched B main, because remember, they'd closed that door and then pushed B main a little bit earlier.
Caution.
But now the decision is to go to A. They've waited it out. They've made themselves some time. These players are having to fall back to watch mid. You've only got your 2-man hold on this site. Hunter's Fury through to try and grab info, and the timing is great for Dijazine, winning that fight at long last. But He might go down to the Hunter's Fury. He barely avoided it. Just about stayed alive. RB, though. He's putting up the hole that DRX need. A 3v3, a 3v2. RB single-handedly keeping this team alive. The ace almost at hand. The shorty's out to try it. It's stolen, as this half was. DRX have hit 24, and we're going to overtime. I don't know what I'm watching, Tom. I really don't.
Where did that come from? The round was looking done. I think they were even using a Hunter's Fury on their own teammates at points within that round. And then RB just decides to put everyone in his Dora the Explorer backpack and carry them to this OT. I don't know how we've ended up here. Those were the plays being made by Furia for the entirety of the first half. And he has just pulled that out of absolutely nowhere. OT.
Can we get a 3-minute break between that? Can we, please? For everyone's sake?
Unfortunately, I've only got a cough and a talkback button. I don't have a technical pause one.
Where's the big red button? How can we get tech pauses all the time, but not here? Someone get Pansy and Hypuck in the building, god damn it. Round 25. Operator on Dijazin. He's gone for it. He's looking for the early fight on mid. Now they're droning him out. He's just hearing that now, and is not really anywhere he can go to. Oh, actually, it didn't go over the wall. It didn't get the height it needed. So he's safe. He hasn't been spotted just yet. They still don't know about the operator.
And also, because of the drone coming through B, they're now expecting him to have pushed there. The thing is, they have smoked off the cross, so realistically, he's not going to be able to do the same damage they were hoping for, and they've almost gone for the same aggression that Marco was playing off of them in the previous half. It is going to be won by Marzin. Back to his success, and more importantly, that knife is going to catch a couple of players. They know they're pushing short.
Well, that nade through as well. They're going right into Dijazin's hands, but he's only good for one. The further aggression, he thought that was the first guy, and the others were behind the nade, but no, now they're behind them, starting to make their way up and out of heaven. The flash about to come through, and Khalil's being left unchecked. They were looking at main. They didn't think about under, and they'll regret that for the rest of this round, and it's not too long. Khalil with a triple from that spot as Furia finally get back on the board. 13-12 and another chance to close it out, but they're on the attack.
Yeah, that's the thing. Both teams have had massive struggles when this comes to the attacking side. The thing is, though, you only need one. You're coming in with the 4 buys. You had weaker economy in a lot of the rounds that they were trying to put the pressure on. And Buzz is now going to be playing without the shields himself. And they're even going to take an instant timeout. I can't really blame them at this point.
No. This is 100% the right call. Now, think about where DRX are at. This team was out of the game. They were done. They were already thinking about Haven. They ended up sweeping right back into it. And once you hit that OT, you basically win the round. At least you've got all the pieces together. You've got the site, and the one thing they don't do is clear under. The one factor left unchecked after all of those early fights, taking down Dijazin after a 1-to-1 trade, it's better than they've managed to get most rounds. And it's that small factor that now puts them on the back foot again. Another hurdle to overcome. But I am never, ever again going to suggest that the mental game of DRX will in any way influence their gameplay negatively. This team, I don't know how they managed to keep themselves in it mentally all the way through. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that we're going to be going for a while here.
Yeah, Buzz has actually made the decision, at least from what we can see in the server, not to go for the operator. So I wonder if there's going to be an attempt to try and take some more space. Bear in mind that Marco was sort of a lone ranger out towards A in the majority of rounds. He is instead seemingly going to go for a fight into middle. I wonder if this is a set play being thrown out, because look how many personnel are currently in mid and B. Is he going to dash forward?
No. He is? He's going up and in. The flash is there, and he's got
You
two.
maniac.
Buzz is still going. Another dash online to work with. He has the escape to play with, and he doesn't even need it. 4 for Buzz. Another phenomenal DRX round. This defense is unstoppable. Well, unless NZR has something to say about it. 3 players to take down. Buzz still lurking around, and they've got the spike on lock. I don't think you'll expect Mako to be on short either. There's just so much going against him.
He's got plenty of time. That's the one thing in his favor, and he has been a player to turn up in the late round scenarios for Furia. An attempt to try and take them through in the first OT. But instead, we've actually got RB just watching for that position. Maybe even spotting out the jump peaks at this point. Just so much time being wasted at this stage. Almost needing to try and just make a move, find a battle. But with all the spots that are currently being held by DRX, as you said, it's going to be very difficult to get any sort of free fight.
30 seconds
The
left.
ace still possible for Buzz. He's about to get contact, but Mako swings in to close the round. Another ace stolen away, but you know what? I don't think he's going to be too worried about that.
I want to know who made that call. I want to know if it was the Zest IGL of old, the Stacks IGL of new, or Buzz himself just going, guys, I've got this. Because if it's anyone else, it's mental, but even still, just like throwing that in that sort of round. Like basically, okay, we've had this massive comeback. We've been doing very well with limited aggression from Marco and ultimately quite passive holds waiting for them to push into us. Let's blitz down mid. Whoever made that call is insane, but also somewhat of a genius.
No, yeah. I love to see it quick. I love to see it. Now, he spammed off right at the start.
27 rounds.
He did a bit of damage. He did actually a very nice bit of damage, about 50 in there at the start. But they managed to sneak back around the corner. Now we need to see a little bit more. I think he just spammed it up a little bit closer. But, yeah, there's way too much pressure now. That Odin's is countered out completely. The players are starting to close up in the alleyway. What can Quick really do about this? It's a tough fight to take on this, and the dash out. That causes more problems, but a good off angle for NCR. He's going to hold it on. Oh, no, he's being flashed! That was perfect timing! And RB follows up with a wall bang. This round might just be in DRX's hand. They might just have broken the curse of the attacking side that we've seen all map long. Mazin being watched.
Oh, it didn't get him. It didn't get him. The flash just a little bit too shallow. I think it was playing for if someone was a little bit deeper onto the corner and just sitting back passive is enough. Digizin with an operator trying to peek back in. It's just not going to be easy. So it is the charge being taken by Khalil, but you can see just how passive DRX is sitting. They're not taking any risks. They're not giving any fights. They don't care if they all go down to the spike. It's OT. It's not like the finances matter. They can just sit there and wait out this clock. They will be taking that first attacking round. There's absolutely nothing the remaining players can do about it. In fact, I don't even know what the plan was. Just pad the stats a little bit.
Good save.
Hey!
14-13. I'm about to say something that I didn't expect was possible to say. DRX on map point. They have the chance to bring it to Haven. Their map choice.
What was it, like 12-4? Something like that? I think it was
12-4.
like 8
I
rounds
believe
in a row.
we said 8 rounds
Confirmed.
in a row. On
there you
the
go.
top.
Production
Yes.
have got our back.
One of the most absurd comebacks I have seen. FURIA have got to be kicking themselves, and with the context that you gave earlier, they haven't played Haven with DJZ. Now, obviously, you're going to hope that they're comfortable there, but after losing a map like this, well, let's see if it comes to that.
They're picking up the pace already, Buzz. As said, the quietest man in the server in the first half has had a huge turnaround. The aggression of Digizin, I'd love to know his first blood stats since it went back to Josh earlier. I feel like they have changed drastically since the second half began. And they're going to have to fall off of this. So much utility expended in the early stages of the round. Mazin is out of pretty much all of his utility. Paranoia used already. All of Sova's utility used as well. Like, there is basically nothing left. They gambled everything on this B push. And so far, all they've done is get shot.
55 seconds, an attack side that has struggled to find even a promise of a round, the hope of one, let alone the round itself, and now they have to do it. Disadvantages stacking up as the seconds roll. And with FURIA with only 40 seconds on the clock, they need to make that move. The push attempted, Buzz damaged and forced back. He gets right back up onto that angle though. He's waiting, biding his time till they take contact with his teammates.
30 seconds
And that's
left.
his chance. Little info for him there as they cross over, starting to swarm into the site. Cautiously, FURIA approach. They've got so many players to deal with. One-to-one trades are fantastic. They've got sight. They've got the plant. And there's no way to deny this for DRX. Still a full belt utility for RB. It's something to play with, but a 2 versus 3.
Where's the hesitation? DRX just didn't believe they would commit back into the B side, so the other players are just so desperately far behind. The thing is, though, a lot of their defensive round came off of these clutches. RB's just going to get headshotted the second he throws out the nade, and well, they do keep this one going. It looked like DRX were ready and set to close it after Digizin goes down, but back to 14-14 we go.
Another overtime, well deserved. You know, I feel like this map started out in frankly quite boring fashion. It looked like it was a foregone conclusion, and you're just gonna roll on to the next, hoping that Haven was where it would happen. But the frustration build up now, DRX, you know, you gotta realize that was their first map point. FURIA have had that frustration a couple of times.
They've had 8 of them.
Well, not even the OT
9.
as well.
Yeah,
They've had 9.
Dear Lord.
9 chances to close out a map, and yet you're on even footing yet again. DRX keep on bringing these rounds back, and they'll call a timeout here and now to make sure that that trend continues. Remember, the attack side's where that struggle was, but now we've seen both teams take the attack. It's anyone's guess where we go from here.
I think you have to give respect to FURIA there. As I said, they blitzed in with a lot of utility, didn't get the success, and were very happy to just slow down, pump the brakes, and basically wait for a mistake, wait for an overextension, or even in this case, just wait for nobody to rotate and stay on the other side of the map. Then they were just able to slowly isolate some of those duels. A lot of teams will not have that calm within the storm, especially when facing up against a map point in the fashion that we've witnessed it throughout this map. Even still though, DRX have handed them the time to talk as well. Carlisle with the option to potentially try and pull out a strategy they've been hiding away. But now they go on to that defensive side. I will say when it gets to OT, I feel like the sides don't matter so much anymore. We've just seen both teams with the attack side, so it's not like it's all down to that defense, but both teams have had more struggles on their offense.
So again, let's draw your eye down to that board on the bottom, the weapons in the hands of the players. It's an operator again, bought up by DJson. Not gonna have any shields to play with, but a worthy sacrifice for this man the majority of the time. He's been aggressive around B main. We've seen it again and again. And this time, he's pushed back, some utility keeping him at bay as Buzz takes control of mid for DRX. Mazin down. A big blow to FURIA right away. Buzz wants to spur forward. He's at least destroyed the drone, taking the info out of their hands and really neutering this B play. They've got to go right back to the site. They're boxed in, and Dijason's missed the shot. A rarity, and another ringing up shot with no kill on the other side. A disaster here for FURIA as they lose all of their players on B. They've lost the site, the plant is in, and DRX seem to have figured this one out.
Yeah, the same risks that were paying off so massively when it came to regulation have just started to fail. I think a lot of that is Buzz warming up into the series. Like, not able to connect his shots initially. Well, now he's at an impossible crossfire. It's not going to happen for Khalil. It is, again, an opportunity for DRX going into their defensive side. And as said last time around, they started off strong. It just slipped away from them. I feel like FURIA, again, are going to have to dig deep to keep themselves in the map.
Oh, well, that is for sure. On the attack again, and the early starts to the attack rounds have not gone their way. Again, we've complimented their play last time after losing a player, after going to the B site, faking out the rotations by just pumping the brakes, not giving anything away, and then swinging on in. But that was a recovery of a round. And look who's right away looking to get aggressive. We saw this earlier down on mid. DRX planned their whole defensive round on that mid push. This time, DRX wanted to move up on A, but they've met a fair bit of resistance there to utility, so they're going to pull it back.
Yeah, this setup at least puts quite a lot of pressure onto Stacks. Maybe just trying to put a hard read into what happened last time. Okay, they went heavy in towards that B site. Let's almost gamble that this time they'll go in the other direction, and they still have a fair amount of utility. Prowler not going to find anything, but that's just because of the deep passive hold that's currently there for FURIA. As now 4 players build in, and they throw the drone in on A just to bait out that setup.
Yeah, and you know what? They're even getting audio cues that they've baited them correctly. The door's being closed. The players backed out towards spawn. That reveal, well, it's actually drawn a couple of shots out of them. Doc Zest at 36. He's almost gone down, but instead he stays alive to at least grab a kill. Maybe even a little bit more. That's a solid start for DRX. Oh!
It's that lurk play from NZR, just holding the top of mid. He manages to catch out Marco. That's a lot of the utility gone, but look at the rotation. They're already within the site. Almost a little bit confused. The spike is on the deck. It's left now to Dijasson, and NZR's still rotating. He hasn't made it to the site yet, and they're just running out of time. That 1v1 not working, and NZR, 15 seconds. So many players still to find. He needs an utter miracle, and there is no hope. DRX, from 12-4 down, they are going to be closing this one out. There is nothing he can do.